so this is chicken after I eat. Wagwan, what's great? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome and thank you very much for stopping by. My name is Chef Adrian Morris and you're watching Morris Time Cooking.
We know about sardine, mackerel, chicken neck, chicken back. Nothing I waste, nothing I dash way.
Whip up some rice and peas, some red kidney beef. Add a few fresh garlic. I was just gonna put this up halfway because we're gonna be pressuring these peas because we didn't have them soaking overnight. And these peas they take anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour to cook. I'm gonna add a few pimento berries. I'm gonna add some salt. In this I added about 5 cups of water and about a tablespoon and a half of salt. Reason being, I don't want to salt this after I'm done cooking, right? I'm gonna allow this to come to a boil. Alright, so once you realize your peas reaches to this level, what you want to do, you want to get some cold water and you want to pour it as hard as possible to help these floating grains to sink to the bottom. And that will help them to cook evenly at the same time. That's what we do. Now start sink it. Alright, there you go. If you realize they're starting to sink now. Alright. Beautiful. Now we're just gonna cover this up. So what I'm gonna be making some jerk chicken, right? This is where I have some jerk marinade. It's not a lot, so I'm gonna add a little bit more to that. And what you want for that is a little bit of onion, some garlic. I'm gonna go in with some scotch bonnet. These are very hot because it's a Jamaican scotch bonnet. A little bit of ginger. Some fresh thyme. I'm gonna go in with some green onion or scallion. Just enough to marinate about 5 to 6 pounds of chicken. Pimento berries. A little bit of brown sugar. I'm going with some oil. Normally I'd add a little bit of lime juice, but I don't have any lime juice right now. Alright, I'm gonna go in with some soy sauce. That is gonna add color as well as flavor. Some browning sauce for color. You can go in with straight salt inside it, but I'm gonna be using some all-purpose seasoning. This is very salty, so about a tablespoon. Right here I have some dry jerk rub made up. I'm gonna go in with some powdered nutmeg. Gonna add some cinnamon powder. We have the allspice berries in there, but we're gonna go in some ground allspice, which is the same thing but in the ground form. Just a little bit, you don't want to overpower that. Alright, you can add lime juice, you can add a little bit of vinegar, but this is good enough for me. I'm just gonna blend this up nicely. Here we go. We're going to be using some vinegar to clean our chicken, and we'll have mostly dark meat. Get some water. And let's check to ensure it's clean. Everything is nice and washed. Gonna go with some black pepper, some all-purpose seasoning. Depending on the all-purpose that you have, this one is a little bit salty, so I'm gonna go in with about 2 tablespoons of this one. I'm gonna go in with our fresh marinade. Right on there. I'm gonna go in now, and we're gonna massage every teaspoon. You see how that browning comes into play to get that chicken to get a beautiful color. Alright, there we go. We're just going to set this aside to marinate. This is best done overnight for maximum flavor. Here I have 2 pounds of goat meat already washed with vinegar, rinse and dried, right? If you want to learn how to clean up your goat meat, I have a video out on that, so check it out at your convenience. We're going to go into some all-purpose seasoning. About a tablespoon, because this one here is very salty. So you want to be careful with the amount of sodium that you use, right? Then we're going to also pop in a few pimento berries, about a 1/4 tablespoon or so. That will help with flavor as well as to tenderize the meat. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of turmeric powder here. And then we're going to be using the curry powder later on, because I don't have enough curry powder for this recipe right now. We're going to chop up a Scotch bonnet pepper. This was in the freezer, hence why it is so soft. I normally like to freeze my Scotch bonnet once I get them in the grocery, in the supermarket, to preserve them, right? So we'll chop up one. This is very spicy, but you know goat, we need the spice. I'm going to put in a small onion. I'm going to use a little bit of a white onion in here and a purple onion, because that's all I have on hand. I'm going to set some of this aside for now. Chop a few garlic cloves. I'm going to be using about 3. Garlic has to make it strong enough. Just going to chop 1 scallion. I currently don't have any green seasoning, hence I'll put at least 2 tablespoons in here. I have a little bit of jerk marinade. I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon because this one is a little bit salty. I'm just going to go right in. Alright, mix that up. If you have a glove, you can use that. I don't want to get my hands with too much turmeric or curry powder. So we're going to allow this to marinate for about 30 minutes. As I always say, overnight is best to get the best flavor out of your chicken, meat, fish or poultry. Alright, so we're just going to remove the peas from our pressure pot. There we go, nice and tender. We're going to transfer our peas now into our pot. Then we're going to go back onto our stove. So we're going to go in with some fresh thyme, scallion. Everything has already been washed. Scotch bonnet pepper. Right, so here we have some coconut milk powder. Typically I like to use a fresh coconut, but today on a Sunday I didn't really get any fresh coconut, so we're going to be working with this. I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of water to 1 pack just to mix it out to remove all the lumps. Give that a mix with a whisk, or if you have a fork you can do so as well. Nice and smooth. Add that in. I'm going to add a teaspoon and a 1/4 of brown sugar. Trust me, makes the world a difference. 2 tablespoons of butter. Last but not least, star of the show, some black pepper. We're going to be using a 1/4 teaspoon. So we cook rice and peas more if it by itself. Give that a stir. Give that a stir, and everything is smelling amazing already. Yeah. So what you want to do as soon as you're done pressuring, based on your pressure cooker, you'll know how long it will take to tenderize your kidney beans, right? At this point you can go ahead and check it, and you realize nice and soft, right? They're soft to the touch. They're still firm, they still hold their shape, but they're cooked, whereas they're nice and soft. We're going to cook this for about 10 or so minutes just to get that coconut nice and infused in everything. And then we're going to wash some rice. We're going to wash about 4 cups of rice. We're going to wash about 4 cups of rice, which is equivalent to about 2 pounds thereabout, right? Give that a taste, final taste. Perfect. We don't need any more salt because we already salted it well from the beginning. Want to cover this, but not all the way, because you don't want this to boil over. So just like that, leaving a little bit of room for the steam to escape. Alright, so we're gonna add about 4 tablespoons of oil. And as I said, I don't have a lot of curry powder, but we have about a tablespoon, so we're gonna work with that. We're gonna add right into the oil. And the goal here is to toast the curry powder. Here in Jamaica we call it burn the curry, right? So once you get like a nice dark look, once it reaches a slight smoke point, that's when you want to go in with your meat. There, slight smoke point, in with your meat. I will stir that up instantly. So before we add this to our pressure cooker, we're just going to cover with a regular lid. And we're going to allow that to produce its own liquid from the goat itself. So you're going to turn that down to medium heat. There we go, starting to produce its own liquid. That's what you want. For about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to add more water in. Pressure this for about 45 minutes. So for the rice now, we're going to be using long grain white rice, 4 scoops, which is equivalent to 1 cup. So that's 2 cups, 3, 4 cups. You want to wash this for about 2 to 3 times or until the water runs clear. Because you realize how cloudy this is. This is all starch, and too much starch in your rice will make it become very soggy. Alright? So we're gonna wash this. That's our first wash. Throw that water off. Alright, gonna give that a stir. Now we're gonna add our wash rice. A little bit of water in there, but that's fine. That will help to bring up the water level in case we need it. And what I learned from my mom, when you're pouring your rice, pour it in the exact center, and once the rice is above the liquid, then you know you have sufficient liquid. But if you pour the rice in and you can't see the rice grains, that means you have too much liquid in there. I'm gonna also show you a next method that you can tell if you have enough water. So there are several ways in which you can do this, right? Give that a stir. And the reason why you stir it like this is to distribute the peas evenly. So how you can measure? I'm going to put the spoon down. You want to achieve at least an inch above the rice, right? So you put the spoon down. Once you feel like rice grain, you pull up. And there you go. That's like an inch above the rice. So this is the perfect amount of liquid. What you want to do now, cover this up. I'm going to allow it to come to a boil for about 10 minutes. And once it comes to a boil, we reduce the heat. And then we're going to cook that for another 10 minutes. And once it starts to evaporate and you're seeing the rice grains, then you can turn it down on minimum and let that steam for about 20 to 25 minutes. So let's go. Alright, so for time for the goat. Look at that beautiful curry color. And this is what we achieve from just the meat producing its own liquid, nice and thick. You see all of that in the bottom? That's some good flavor right there, right? Beautiful. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna add that liquid from the same pot with the seasoning and everything in. I will just want to cover this above the meat pieces. So this is around 2.5 cups of water. Beautiful. Give that a stir. And we want to ensure you have enough water in here. You realize the curry color is still there because of what we did in the beginning to allow it to produce its own liquid. So covering it, you can see the meat pieces still. You know, you don't have too much liquid, right? What you want to do now, you want to cook this on pressure cooker mode for about 30 minutes to an hour, thereabout, depending on the age of the meat, right? This is not so old because the meat were very red in color. If it's more so on the gray side, you know that the meat is older and it takes a longer time to cook. So 30 to 40 minutes, then we're going to check it and see how tender it is. So pressure cooker on. If you're going to slow cook this, it will take you anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to slow cook without the use of a pressure cooker. So cover that up, medium heat, 40 minutes, and we should be good to go. Alright, so now we're going to reduce the flame to medium. This should take about 5 to 10 minutes to reduce. Gonna cover with some aluminum foil. here I have some pimento wood. I got this when I went by my dad's grave yesterday. And this is going to help us to achieve that authentic jerk flavor, you know. So we'll just chop. Typically, you want this to be dry for it to be at its peak, but we don't have time for that. So we're just going to be using as is. We have here a car rim. That's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to go in with some charcoal. Alright, so to get everything going, I have some egg cartons. I'm going to be using that. This will help us to get the flames going.
Cooking out burn like a eat a longer burn.
So I have TY the pit guru help out with the fire.
It's a plastic now.
Alright, see the fire god, you know. So we added a little bit of cooking oil on the coal and it's helping us to burn quicker. I smoke more, bro.
Auto for you, right? You ready?
Yeah, no, you
want the fuse with the auto.
Alright, there we go. Nicely seasoned. I'm just gonna add them over top. So it's gonna cover these over and we're gonna achieve that smoke. Alright, here we go for the rice. It has been over 20 minutes. Steaming for 20 minutes, so now you can remove the excess thyme sticks as well as the green onion, or in some places they call them scallion here in Jamaica. So we're gonna fluff the rice now. Mixing everything. Look at that rice. Beautiful color. And look at piece where you buy them. I love them. Look on there. And give you a nice red color. And spread that out. So remove the foil. I'm gonna allow this to steam for about an additional 10 minutes, slightly open. And what that will do, it will help the coconut on there to get the rice nice and sheeny. So after 10 minutes we should be good to go. And again, we're at very low heat. So our goat meat is ready. I'm gonna turn off the stove. I'm just gonna open the pressure cooker up. Let some water to cool it down. Lift the valve a little bit. Beautiful. Just to get the extra pressure out. And there you go. So we're gonna check this to see how tender these pieces are. Alright, so we're gonna check the meat pieces. They're still a bit tough. Some are tough. So we can cook this for an additional 20 more minutes. So we're gonna season a little bit of all-purpose seasoning. About a teaspoon. I'm going to go in with a half teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to add 1 more cup of water. Reason being, because I'm going to be pressuring this for an additional 20 minutes to get the meat tenderized. I pressured it for about half an hour just now, but it's not enough. The meat is still not soft enough. Shut you out. Oh, but I tell you, this is about blame. This me I tell you. So I don't want to fire smoke me. Do you want?
What do you see, sir? You have to
no man, I want to put some leaf underneath it. You get me?
They're not born, but they still them.
Yeah, but they were born man. They're over today. They're born up, bro. Don't you in the star card that you want there? Alright, here we go, second cook, cool it down. So nice and thick. So I have here about 2 to 3 tablespoons of coconut powder. I'm going to add a little bit of water just to mix that out. When I'm making my curry, I like to add a little bit of coconut milk in there. Just give it a great flavor. Don't want to overpower this because you still want to taste the gaminess of the goat, right? So you want to taste that goat meat, so not too much coconut in here. I'm going to add in fresh garlic, onion and thyme. So we're going to let this cook for an additional 10 or so minutes on medium heat until it's nice and thickened, and then we'll be good to go. Curry is ready. Alright, some peas, jerk, and curry. Leave a thumbs up on the video, leave a comment below, and say if you love my vibe, don't forget to hit subscribe. Jano, try it out at home, you won't be disappointed. Once again, thank you very much for watching. You see, until next time, safe travel upon the gravel, and go and big up on yourself.